Mike, question.
Shoot.
Florida State, Florida, sold out. Did you see that?
I did see that today on Instagram.
So look away right now because I'm about to open up the Google.
I can barely see your screen, but okay.
Okay, well, I'm still going to shield it. I know it's extremely early, but I just went and clicked on.
We are actually, by the way, that's 2 months away. We're in end of September, 2 months.
Stop. I don't want to think about that. You're right. It is literally 2 months away because it's on the 25th, so a month and 28 days.
Whatever.
Matchup predictor, ESPN Football Power Index
Uh-huh.
has Florida State listed as a favorite in that game as of right now.
Not surprising. They've been the better team so far this football season.
Agreed, but what do you think that number is? What? So it's out of 100%. What is the percentage that Florida State wins the game?
Oh, it's out of 100%. So it's not actual line spread.
No, not a line spread.
Okay, I thought you meant by line spread.
No.
If I had to guess a percentage, like out of 100%, 76%.
You were really close. 72.1%.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I thought you were talking about a point spread.
No. I just thought that was fascinating. Figured we'd start the show with that because it's just you and I today. No Skylar, unfortunately. He could not make it out tonight, but we can hold the fort down as we talk our usual trio of goodies, which is going to be Jaguars, Gators, and Noles. I'll talk more Gators if that's okay.
I don't mind talking Gators, especially when they lose.
Touche. Me too. So I didn't really put together much of an outline today because I was pretty busy, but those are the three topics we've been talking about, and those are the three topics we will talk about.
Can we also mention at the end how Miami lost to Middle Tennessee State?
Oh, well, we're going to do our
around the state? Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. We have to actually, you know what? You want to start with that? Is that cool with you?
I'm good with that.
Okay, well, then you go ahead and start us off, please, with the best one of the weekend.
The Miami Hurricanes are a complete disgrace to the state of Florida. Their fan base is one of the most annoying fan bases I've ever seen on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, in real life. Sorry, Kevin. But how do you lose to Middle Tennessee State? And you don't look competitive. There's no well. They were down 17-3 in the first quarter, 24-10 at half. Ironically, they matched score for score in each quarter, but they were down 17-3 at home in front of 10 fans. And how do you lose like that? How do you allow a 400-yard passer? How do you allow a 98-yard bomb of a touchdown throw?
They answered it with a 95 of their own.
I don't care. They're ass. They benched their first-round quarterback in Tyler Van Dyke, which is a disgrace, by the way. And now everyone knows Tyler Van Dyke was not joking when he says, I like to go to other schools because I get a more of a college atmosphere than I do in the state of Florida, and specifically Coral Gables, or wherever the hell the Hurricanes play.
My only point to that is, I mean, he's right. He's 100% right.
He is right.
And there's no college atmosphere.
And Miami fans were arguing back like, no, he didn't really mean that. Yeah, you have 10 fans show up to your game. Really, maybe about 15,000, but still.
The problem is they don't play on campus. It's a 20-minute drive to get to the stadium. That's a pain in the butt.
For college kids, I agree. But
for you at Florida State, I mean,
it was walking distance. It was walking distance.
Yeah, and that's a big deal to have, that college atmosphere. Students aren't going because it's a pain. They're never going to fill out that stadium because it's an NFL stadium. It's too big. But again, they still lose to East Tennessee.
This is breaking news. Miami cannot get a receiver commit. They lost a commitment to Georgia.
I thought you were about to say they fired somebody else.
No.
Wow.
He is from Lakeland, Tyler Williams. He's a 4-star receiver, and he's going to Georgia instead of going south to Miami. This is on the podcast. I give it 3 years before Mario Cristobal is fired. They will never win a national championship with Mario Cristobal.
What is 3 years from now?
So 2025. By the end of 2025, he will be fired.
I gotta read this in my big book of Mike's
predictions. He
is
a good recruiter, fine, but he makes some dumb decisions, including against Texas A&M when he kicked field goals. I'm sorry, Miami fans, you might want to look at other options and don't give your money to the University of Miami because they clearly can't recruit with it. So, have fun being in poverty for next decade.
I thought you were gonna say, have fun being a Pop Warner school.
And I cannot wait till we go down into the Hard Rock and beat Miami once again.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, speaking of South Florida.
Fuck you, Miami.
Speaking of South Florida, I'm going to move over to University Park and talk about the FIU Panthers. You want to know the score of their game, Mike? Against Western Kentucky.
Okay. 32-10. I don't know.
73-0 Western Kentucky.
Oh, you know what?
The beating down.
You know who coached at FIU?
Who, Mike?
Mario Cristobal.
Oh, I didn't know that. Well, he left a legacy, that's for sure. Who do you got next?
I got, not too far, former head coach of the Florida State Seminoles, Willie Taggart, and the FAU Owls, who also lost to a big win. This time I'll give them some credit. It was against a Power 5 school. They lost to Purdue. Not a great school.
At Purdue, right?
At Purdue on the road, so they kept it close. But they did lose. They did lose, and I think Willie Taggart will get fired hopefully soon for FAU fans' sake.
Yeah, he of that game was actually a really good game. Purdue barely stayed alive in that one after, the nervous breakdown that they had at Syracuse. Etched out a win this time, so at least they feel a little bit better about that.
And just some news, and we're going to touch on them next. USF, their home football game this upcoming week just got moved to FAU's home stadium just due to the hurricane.
Makes sense. Makes complete sense. They took a shellacking as well. The state of Florida did not look so great as of right now. Louisville came in there and spanked them 41-3. That same USF team that lost to Florida by 3.
Yeah.
And they're saying
Makes you wonder.
Louisville was a bad win for Florida State.
Makes you wonder. Sad to say. But going from Louisville beating USF, we go to a team that Louisville also beat in UCF. UCF did have a home game this past weekend against Georgia Tech, and they took care of business. They won 27-10.
All right, a win.
Following that, Georgia Tech did fire their head coach, Jeff Collins.
Opening the door for a certain someone.
Deion Sanders.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Another win in the state. Bethune-Cookman Wildcats beat Grambling State 36-19. You have any more, Mike?
I have one last one. They're arch rival, part of the Florida Blue Florida Classic, the FAMU Rattlers, and FAMU did take care of business against Alabama A&M at home at Bragg Memorial Stadium, 38-25.
Unfortunately, we end on an L. Ed Waters, our Jacksonville team, since UNF and JU do not have programs, dropped to 0-4, losing to Lane College. I did look it up. They are Lane College, not Lane University. 20-9, only mustering 2 second-half points. So there you have it. That's around the state. Sunshine State. What did Skylar say the other day? The gun-slinging, gun-shaped
state or something?
Yeah, roundup. Yeah, we'll iron it out with him. But, yeah, that was our little roundup of the state of Florida. Let's get down to the Power 2 teams. And I say that loosely because, one of the two isn't showing the prowess that they started off the season with. The 2-2 Florida Gators. Florida goes into Tennessee, lose 38-33, but Mike, between you and me, the score does not indicate that game at all. It was not as close as it showed on that scoreboard.
No, not at all. And the fourth quarter was kind of a bizarre way to end the game. Tennessee just did not want to play any defense and just let Florida just get to the end zone in the end. But same could be said about the game with the Gators defense. The Gators defense were a complete no-show. And Hendon Hooker looked like a Heisman candidate. He had his Heisman moment against the Gators. He dominated the Gators. He looked damn good against the Gators. So
349 yards in the air, 2 TDs, 112 yards on the ground with another TD there. Hooker is the real deal.
Yeah, without a doubt. And the game started off slow, and then in the second half is where the scoring just took off.
Well, and we talked about this pre-show. Florida showed out. Like this was
their best game of the year.
This was their best game of the year minus Utah. And I know that's not saying much, not a big sample size, but they pulled out every stop. They were going for it on fourth down. They were taking risks. And a lot of times it was paying off, but they really could have used that 3 points in that first drive that they left on the table. They really could have used that extra point that they didn't kick on their last TD. Why did they not?
I like it.
Going for the win, I don't know. I
I
feel
don't
like
know.
if you're the underdog, you should be going in playing for the tie, hoping you can get to the tie. But going in and doing that 2-point pass conversion that didn't complete, and then you're down 11? What's the thought process there?
So the biggest thing for me when I thought was pretty much over was when Florida went down 38-21. I was like, there's no way Florida's going to score 3 touchdowns.
No.
Because they're down 17. So my thing is, I can see why they would go for 2. Because if they get a touchdown, they're down. If they got the 2-point conversion, they'd be down 9. If they get another one, they just kick an extra point, then they'd be down, let's see, 7. What is this? 9, 7. They'd be down 2. They kick a game-winning field goal, and they win the game.
Yeah.
So I think that was the reasoning for going for 2. But again, Billy Napier is a coach that doesn't seem scared about the chances he took.
He doesn't seem scared, but it's not like we'll touch on it more. But like the Jags taking the risks that they did last week seemed more justified than some of the risks that he was taking. I don't know. Is it just me? Am I crazy? It felt like how many 4th down conversions did they attempt?
Who, Tennessee or Florida?
6. Florida went 5 for 6 on 4th down, which
probably
is a great number.
That's probably why they felt so comfortable, because the 4th down defense for Tennessee was pretty spotty.
It was.
Or really shaky, because they allowed 5 of 6, but even the third down offense for the Gators is 50%, which isn't terrible. So obviously Tennessee had a better third down offense, 6 of 9, nice, but I don't know. I think Gators at most. I mean, they got a cupcake coming up this weekend, Eastern Washington.
Yeah. So this will be their next couple weeks are all cupcakes, essentially. It's the worst teams in the SEC.
They have LSU, I know, in one of those games.
They go Missouri next. So Eastern Washington, Missouri. Yeah, then they have LSU, which honestly might be a better game than we thought 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, LSU looks a lot more improved from the first game of the year against the Noles.
3-1 now. Their lone loss is against us, but yeah. Well, props to Anthony Richardson. I'll give him his flowers for that. I mean,
Anthony did not cause them to lose the game.
No.
He looked good.
No, he threw a touchdown. Thank God. 2, in fact.
Finally.
And he led the team in rushing, which is not a good thing, Mike, because that's what their crutch has been so far. And Etienne had 35 yards. Naquan Wright had 26 yards. And
so
Montrell Johnson had 18.
So if you ask Billy Napier pregame, and I'm stealing this from a podcast I listened to, you ask Billy Napier that Anthony Richardson will throw for 453 yards and rush for 62 yards with 2 passing touchdowns and 2 rushing touchdowns. Billy Napier would be like, absolutely, let's go.
I think fans would be like, come on, let's go. We're going to win the game if that's the case.
And then if you tell them that Hendon Hooker had 349 yards passing, 2 touchdowns passing, 112 yards rushing, and 1 rushing touchdown, you'd be like, maybe not. It was a very even game between the quarterbacks. But
yeah, and the stats don't show everything. I mean, some of these Anthony Richardson passing
were inflated in the fourth
quarter, absolutely. But I think Tennessee's defense was either gassed or they were just like, we're playing too comfortable, which
and
if I'm coach, I'm bitching them out for that.
I could not believe that Florida got the onside kick.
Yeah, no, that I literally had my finger on the remote to change the channel. I was like, screw this. This is over. I guess I'll go watch some other crappy game. And I'm glad I didn't, because I was like, oh, okay. But I wasn't sitting there thinking, I'm like, oh, Florida has a shot, because they didn't have a shot.
I thought the game was over. And they made it definitely more interesting near the end, and definitely caused a lot of stress for people who had some cash on the game. Let's just say that.
Yeah, a couple people on Twitter I saw were like, Billy Napier obviously had the line or something.
The line
was
was 11 and a half. 11 in favor of the Volunteers.
And he went for 2, and he didn't take the field goal when they should have, and it was like people were pissed, and I was like, well, that's why you don't bet. I'm literally staring at Mike right now. You guys
no
can't
comment,
see.
because I did not touch this game. Actually, I lied. I bet the under first half, and that cashed. And the under in the game, however, it did not cash because they decided to go crazy in the fourth quarter.
I'm so proud of you. but not
because
really.
I've had bad luck with betting the Gators games. Whenever, let's say, I pick Florida to cover, the exact opposite happens. When I bet the other team to cover, Florida somehow wins the game straight up. I'm like, I'm just never going to touch the side on the game. I'll just pick the total and ride with it.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I don't blame you at all. Okay, well, let's get to the team that we care about, Florida State.
The best team in the state.
The best team in the state. 4-0, 2-0 in the conference.
Finally
That's
ranked, by the way.
feeling.
Congratulations.
It's a great feeling, man. I mean, it's so cool when I go onto ESPN on my phone and when it shows top 25, I don't have to click ACC. I can just scroll down and see us. Florida fans, I'm sorry, you're going to have to click the SEC tab in order to see your team. But
They won't make... I don't think the Gators will be ranked at all at any point this year.
Unless a miracle happens, I don't either. Do you think there was anything that didn't go well in the Boston minus Fitzpatrick, because he's the worst kicker ever? Not really, but he's not a good kicker. Was there anything that you were concerned about in the Boston College game?
I mean, not so much with that game, but something to look out for is the secondary of Florida State. They're young.
Yeah.
And they got some studs coming up next week and also in a few weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So I am definitely a little concerned with our secondary play. They're not the greatest. They do have they can get penalized, and it's very concerning. We don't want to draw those 15-yard pass interference calls, those defensive holding calls. But I would say if I'm not satisfied with something on the Noles, it's definitely the secondary play.
Yeah. Yeah, and Hartman can sling the ball around for Wake Forest. I've moved on from the Boston College was...
By the way, quick note, did you watch the opening kickoff?
Yeah.
Okay, I did not.
Oh.
So I went to go to the bathroom to take a piss.
Oh, you idiot.
And...
First kickoff return since the national title.
Since the national championship game. So the reason why I went, I was like, okay, Florida State special teams have been ass this year. So I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to miss much. I literally am washing my hands and I hear touchdown. I'm like, how? I thought Jordan Travis maybe threw an 80-yard bomb or something. I was like, okay, let's see how this happened. And nope, it was the opening kickoff. I was very impressed with
Trey Benson?
Yes, Trey Benson. I cannot remember. We have enough running backs. I can't remember the name.
It wasn't Kermit from the last time. But, yeah, no, Trey Benson put on the burners. When he caught that corner, I was like, 93 yards.
Yeah, I saw the highlight. I'm like, after he broke that fifth tackle, I can just imagine being a Doak Campbell.
Yeah, man, yeah. I love to see a sellout at Doak, too. It just makes everything better. But, I mean, yeah, no, it was a balanced attack. Everybody stepped up on the offense. It was a beautiful
It was over
sight to see.
before the first quarter ended.
Yeah, no, I had no stress in that game. It was different from Duquesne in the sense of I knew we were going to go in there and spank the crap out of Duquesne. I went into this game saying this could be a trap game because it's prime time. It's Boston College. They've done it to us before.
And Florida State was favored by 18 points.
Yeah, and Florida State being favored by too many points sometimes is scary. But, hey, they proved us wrong. They came out and took care of business, and I appreciate you, Florida State. So,
yes. But on to the next
back to
game.
Wake Forest. Yeah, Sam Hartman, he's throwing for 13 TDs. They're averaging 43 points a game. And granted, a lot of the teams they've played so far are not any good. But putting up 51 against Clemson, I mean, it's going to be an interesting game. Let me ask you this. This is the start of the true test for Florida State. The schedule gets tougher from here on out. What does Florida State need to do to beat Wake Forest?
Stop A.T. Perry. He is their number one receiver. Him and Hartman, I believe, are both seniors. A.T. Perry came into the...
A.T. Perry's a junior.
Oh, okay. Well, he's been playing with Hartman for 3 years. So he definitely is a talented receiver. He likes to go deep. They both like to go deep. And A.T. Perry did draw a couple pass interference calls on Clemson's DBs.
I'm so scared of that.
Which, by the way, Clemson's DBs were banged up, so they're playing the backups. So we'll see if that hurts A.T. Perry in the end or helps them because Florida State's secondary is still pretty inexperienced.
Yeah. No, they are.
So I think if you shut down A.T. Perry and you allow the pass rush to get to Sam Hartman, you have a very good shot of winning. Florida State are 5-point favorites from last I checked. I agree with that line. Florida State has looked mighty impressive.
Wait, we're 5-point favorites?
Yes, we're at home, 5-point
crap.
favorites. I
Wow.
believe we're 5-point favorites. And Wake Forest has played weak opponents. They played Vanderbilt, they played VMI, they played Liberty, and Clemson. 3, no offense to the SEC, with Vanderbilt, kind of cupcakes.
No offense, Vanderbilt is the definition of cupcake.
Yeah, they're not even the worst team in the SEC. Hello, Auburn. But Clemson is a very good team, and they almost beat Clemson. I was low-key hoping Wake Forest won so they can be on a high coming into Tallahassee, and we just spanked them. But obviously now they're looking like they might be tired. They played double overtime.
They could be looking for revenge. We don't know.
Was it double overtime or
Yeah. It was double.
So
It was really close, man. It was a really close game.
So I think it's going to be a very good game on Saturday, and we will see if they even played on Saturday because Florida State canceled classes from today till Friday.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what path Hurricane Ian does take
because it's affecting a lot of stuff in the state. Like I mentioned earlier with the USF Bulls, their game got pushed to FAU Stadium. Florida State game maybe get pushed.
As of right now, it is scheduled for Saturday at 3:30 p.m.
The Gators game got pushed from Saturday to Sunday at noon.
Yeah, and
so
you beat me. I was going to say that. Yeah, the
so
Gator game is at noon.
Definitely the Hurricanes. The Hurricane is impacting things, not like the Hurricanes of Miami. They can't impact anything.
This Hurricane Ian's stronger than the entire Hurricane offense because they stink. Whamp whamp, lame pun. Yeah. Okay. So. Right off the bat, Florida State beat Wake.
Yes. I will say a score of 31-27. It's going to be a stressful game once again for the Noles, but that's the thing. These next 3 games against Wake Forest, on the road against NC State, at home against Clemson, those 3 games are going to obviously determine the season, but I do believe they will beat Wake Forest.
I say,
and thankfully the Noles get a bye week after Clemson because they're going to need it.
That's a good one. I'm going to go Florida State 33 and Wake Forest. You know what? I'm going to say 20. I'm just going to say we're going to surprise ourselves, and we're going to go out there and clap
Hopefully you're right, because I would love to have a less stressful game than my score prediction. But
absolutely. We will see. Again, that is at 3:30. It's going to be on ABC
For now.
It plays. So
Did you see Dave Clawson's comments?
No.
He said that we will travel to Tallahassee if it's safe. And everyone's like, it should be clear, but you never know, obviously, with the weather and hurricanes. But if it's safe enough, we will be traveling to Tallahassee. And everyone's making fun of him because they're like, you're going to be fine. He said, hopefully the ACC cancels the game or postpones it.
He said that?
Yeah.
He said, hopefully they cancel it?
Well, he said, hopefully the ACC gets involved.
Oh.
I mean, pretty much.
He was saying, like, I hope they cancel it because I'm scared of.
Pretty much indicated that, though.
What a wuss. Speaking of wusses, the Los Angeles Chargers.
Did you see the Jaguars post?
Wimps.
With the charger.
The broken phone charger?
Broken charger. I thought that was an A+ post.
They're doing well on social media.
That's because they've got a lot of built-up frustration on these teams.
No, you know what they have is they have a lot of built-up posts for wins that they never get to post because we haven't won in so long. So they've been saving that one for a couple of years, and I am
A-okay with it.
Overjoyed with it. Oh, man. 38-10. Biggest road win since 2001. Trevor Lawrence snaps his winless
0-9 record. First road win since 2019 when we ended the Oakland Raiders.
Yep. R.I.P. Oakland. Just very similar to Florida State. It just seems like a lot of good things were happening and kept happening and kept happening, and it was like we're gonna cakewalk this game, and we did. They scored 10 points, 3 points in the second half. Jacksonville, man.
So, can I say something?
Of course, this is a podcast. You can say anything.
Touché. I am sick of the media making excuses for this team, for the Chargers.
Injuries? Is that what you're referring to?
Injuries. Sure, they got injuries. And ironically, and it sucks that it all happened at once, you lose your starting left tackle in Rashawn Slater for the year. You lose your third receiver in Jalen Guyan for the year. You lose Joey Bosa for the game. You lost, 100% Herbert. Herbert's not 100% anymore, obviously.
Which he looked pretty damn good to me when he was making throws on the run and shit like that.
Yeah,
Man,
so I don't
that
buy
rib
that.
must have been really hurting.
So my thing is,
wait, let me make sure you didn't miss anybody.
They got
Donald
a lot.
Parham. Scott said he watched him in college play against JU and just torched him.
Really?
Yeah, Corey Linsley.
He didn't play. He was already out. J.C. Jackson was also already
Corey
out.
Linsley. I didn't realize he was there.
Yeah, he got signed there in the offseason. Great signing by the Chargers. But my thing is back on the Jaguars and Chargers. The Jaguars absolutely smoked them.
Yeah.
It was a close game, and then the Jaguars just tore it up. When they went up 16-7, I was like, okay, here we go. This is about to be a fist fight. Then they got a field goal 16-10, and then just clicked.
Ooh, that snap got me.
The offensive play calling by Doug Peterson was one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen. And I swear this is a broken record because we said the same thing last week against the Colts.
We did.
Quick throws. Receivers were not dropping the ball like they usually do in the last 5 years. Trevor Lawrence got, I think, the best game of his career.
Yes.
3 touchdowns. Never turned it over. Got sacked no times.
0.
The offensive line balled out. The running game, James Robinson is an absolute stud, and I felt like he had some demons in that stadium from the last time he was here with he who shall not be named. He got benched in that game. And I tweeted, bump, Urban Meyer, you're one of the worst coaches in NFL history. I still stand by that take. I tweeted it in December when we fired Urban Meyer. The defense. Now let's switch topics on the defense. Holy crap. Did they show up? Josh Allen had the game of his life, and they better pay him by the end of the season. He deserves a contract.
Josh Allen? Oh, like he had 4 QB hits?
Yeah. I mean,
and a pass deflection.
He got into Justin Herbert's face.
He only had 1 tackle.
No, he impacted the game more than...
Yeah, than the stat sheet shows.
Yes. Devin Lloyd. Would not surprise me if he won Defensive Rookie of the Year. Shout out Nofa. He texted me the night of the draft. He said, would not shock me if he won Defensive Rookie of the Year.
Shout out Alma for telling me that he was a stud at Utah.
He is a beast. And
shout out to Smoot for getting a sack.
Everyone just balled out on the defensive side of the ball. And what is his name?
Foye.
I was going to say his first name, the whole first name. I was like, you know what, I'm not going to bother. Foye Aluakon, big key to the game. 8 tackles, quarterback hit. Like, he helped the defense. The linebackers, he was a key factor. But, man, this defense, without Shaq Griffin, balled out.
Yeah, maybe that says something about Shaq.
We're going to need Shaq next week against the Eagles.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like we were pretty good without him. Shout out to Riley Patterson, kicker who actually knew what to do. He made all 3 field goals and extra points.
It's funny you say that. We had kicker tryouts today.
Wait, what?
The Jags brought in kickers today.
Really?
Yes.
I missed that.
So I saw Field Yates tweet it today. Former Colts kicker Rodrigo Blankenship had his first workout since being waived by Indy.
That's why I retweeted that.
And as he and Sam Ficken, I'm so sick of seeing Sam Ficken's name anywhere around the Jaguars, both tried out for the Jaguars today. And then, I guess... Oh, John Shipley then tweeted, it's about their backup kicker. Patterson isn't going anywhere. So Patterson is the kicker, but I don't know why they need a backup kicker, but I guess if someone gets hurt, fine. Practice squad, maybe.
I guess to have someone just in case. Maybe they're expecting Riley to break a leg or something.
But yeah, Jaguar fans.
Is this true? Wait, did he really kick 3 field goals and his longest was a 23-yard
I believe so. He didn't have long field goals. He just had extra points.
Oh, man.
We dominated the game. And one thing, I'm going to say one last thing on this game. I love that when the Jaguars went up 23-10. They kept the foot on the gas. They scored another touchdown, 29-10. And you know what? Hey, Let's go for 2. Make it a 3-touchdown game. Make
Yep.
it 21. They didn't get it. Fine, whatever.
Yeah, but it was a sexy play.
Yeah. So they kept a foot on the gas. Say fuck you, LA.
2 of 3 on 4th downs too, and it was good calls.
Good calls. I didn't have any disagreements with the play calls. I would have done the same thing Doug did. Granted, I'm not saying I should be an NFL head coach.
No, and you know what? Let me give. Since we basically given our game balls of the week to the entire Jacksonville Jaguars, I'm giving props to Zay Jones. The Chargers came out and looked to shut down Christian Kirk. And
Still didn't work.
And it still didn't work, but Zay Jones stepped up, 10 receptions, 85 yards. And
11 targets, yeah.
It's great, man.
So
it's great knowing that, if one guy's locked up, we have someone else that can step up.
For anyone that plays fantasy football,
Oh, shut up.
I'm just bringing this in.
I'm just kidding.
I would pick up any Jaguar and just say, screw it, and put them in the flex. Because they will bring in points, they will score, or they will get a lot of catches. Trevor Lawrence loves Marvin Jones, loves Zay Jones, loves Christian Kirk, likes Evan Ingram, but...
How are you a couple weeks later, from removed from your ETN comments? How are you feeling about ETN right now? Is he living up a little bit, or is he still He had, just for reference, he had 3 receptions for 30 yards.
I think it's...
Longest of a 16 and 13 carries for 45 yards.
I'm going to cut him some slack just because it is so difficult to come in after a year of not playing football for him.
Yeah.
Because of an injury. And technically, this is a rookie year. Technically.
Yeah, no, it is.
And it's Justin. I almost said Justin Herbert. It's Trevor Lawrence's rookie year because he had a nincompoop as a coach.
That was year 0, right?
Yeah, 0. Yeah, exactly. So, I am still high in ETN. I just looking back, getting Travis Etienne and Caleb Chase on for Jalen Ramsey looks like one of the biggest fleeces in NFL history.
Yeah, Caleb Chase on. I think he had 3 snaps
He did
on the
play.
field.
He did play, but he didn't do much.
3 snaps?
I don't even know.
I'm serious. I think it was only 3 snaps. I'm okay with it.
Yeah, he doesn't need to see the
He
field.
doesn't need to. He didn't need to that day. So.
He's a good depth piece, but that's about it.
Do you know how many times we punted, Mike?
Once. Yeah.
That's awesome.
I think it was in the first quarter, right? I'm pretty sure it was in the first quarter. So it was 0-0 in the first.
Yeah. He's only punted the ball 9 times this year. Logan Cook. 9 punts.
It's a shame.
We would have 9 punts in a game last year.
It's a shame. The NFL won't get to see the best punter in the league.
Touche, man.
Because Trevor Lawrence is about to be dropping dimes on everyone's defenses.
We drafted him in the 7th round.
I know.
Well, we
finally are keeping our talent.
It's nice to see. We're just, I don't know. It's a weird feeling. We might not be feeling this next week as Florida State has a test. Skylar's not here, so I don't give a shit about Florida. They're playing a cupcake. We have a test against Wake Forest and Florida State, and the Jaguars have a test against the Eagles.
So, one of my friends, Mike, he listens to the podcast occasionally when he's working overnights at the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
He reminded me of something I said a few years ago. I was convinced both Florida State and Jacksonville Jaguars are never good at the same time. When was the last time?
The 90s?
Yeah, that's it. And the Jags were a team for 5 years.
Because the Jags have been bad for so
And the
long.
Noles, when the Jags were good for that 1 year.
So if they're both good right now, does that mean the Magic can be good this year?
God, I hope so.
God. Things are looking up.
Well, we'll see.
Hey, no, I just mean in general, not just.
Oh no,
Magic,
the future is bright in Jacksonville. The future is bright in Tallahassee. The future is still a little bright in Gainesville. In Orlando, same thing. Hopefully, just no injuries.
Future's bright. Yeah.
So, but not to distract you with NBA talk. It's the middle of football season.
That's NBA talk. I mean, they did have media day, so I was kind of.
You see Zion and James Harden's comments.
Did you see what Zion looked like?
Yeah, he still looks fat.
No, he doesn't.
He's still fat.
If you look at the picture from last year to this year,
he's definitely lost weight and turned into muscle. I give it 2 months in the season before he goes to downtown New Orleans and orders beignets.
Okay. What's more likely? That happens, or the fact, or if James Harden is telling the truth that he lost 100 pounds? There's no fucking way. He lost 100 pounds.
You know what the context was, right?
No.
They asked him like, "How do you feel?" or something like that, and then he said, "I lost 100." What did he say? He said, "I lost 100 pounds." Tweet that. just as a joke. He didn't really lose 100 pounds.
Oh.
He just did it as a joke because he knows people get riled about how fat he is.
Oh, Twitter screwed me up on that one. Oh, well. But
Just like that's why he did it, to mess with people. But
well, that was talking NBA
but
for now.
yeah, well,
We'll get back to that. So, yeah, fill in the blank here.
okay.
To beat the Eagles, the Jaguars need to blank.
Man, I can go a lot of ways with this. You can go continue to protect Trevor Lawrence.
That's a smart one.
You can go get after Jalen Hurts, put a QB spy on him.
You might have to.
You might need to double, but the thing is, who do you double? AJ Brown, Devontae Smith. Do you
Who's the bigger of the two?
AJ Brown?
Then you double the other guy. We handled Mike Williams perfectly on Sunday, and I think they can do that again against the Eagles.
I don't know because I thought that, but the receivers in Philly, and they also have or do you let Dallas Goedert roam free in the middle?
Forgot about him.
And we all know how the Jags do against tight ends usually. Not good.
Not great.
So I think the key to beat the Philadelphia Eagles, I'm going to sound so basic with this, protect Trevor Lawrence, man. The offensive line have had the best 3 games of the season. They have not allowed, I think they've allowed, 2 sacks all year?
I think you're right, because he didn't get sacked last week. Yeah.
No, he definitely got sacked in week 1.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm just agreeing with you because I was Googling something.
So the key, I think, is to protect Trevor Lawrence, because if you allow Trevor Lawrence some time, he will make the throws that he needs to. And I believe that the offensive line is the key to win the game. You protect Trevor Lawrence, you have Trevor Lawrence beat them through the air and even through his legs, because you saw that the Sunday. He did he didn't move around with his legs. And I'm just a big fan of protecting our franchise quarterback.
I saw some sort of stat that he didn't have as much time.
So he did get sacked 2 times.
Okay.
All year.
But he didn't have as much time this week to throw the ball.
But
he was throwing so many quick passes.
He was throwing, his time to throw is 2.42 seconds.
I mean, looking at I almost called it a shot chart.
Oh.
My NBA-ness. His throw chart of all of his completed passes, all but it almost looks like 2 were from 10 yards or less.
No, 15. I see total.
Oh, there's 1, 2, 3. I forgot those. The blue ones are touchdowns. 1, 2, 3, 4.
I see a total of 6, 15 yards and up, like 15 yards and deeper.
Oh! You're saying throws. My bad. I didn't clarify. I meant completions. My bad.
Unless I said completions, and I don't even know. But anyway,
who cares? But
yeah, there were a lot of quick throws.
Passes. I think their defense has been good. I mean, Washington isn't exactly a great offense. Minnesota, I mean, they've given up 15 points combined between those 2 teams. They were in a dogfight with Detroit, but they're 3-0, and we're 2-1. We are not at home. It's going to be interesting back-to-back road games to see if this Jaguars team can come out. Just really quickly, we do our predictions on Sunday, the day of the game. If you would like to drop your predictions to try and win some dimes on Duval swag, please follow us on Instagram and Twitter. That's where we post the spots where you can drop your own predictions. If you are right on the money score-wise, you will win. Just right off the bat, though, do we win? I say no.
Find out Sunday.
You little bitch. See, I can say that now, but I can say my score differently on Sunday.
I mean, we technically did say that we all thought we were probably going to lose.
No, Skylar said that for us. I specifically didn't say anything because I didn't want to say anything because I didn't know what was going to happen. And he was like, before we all say that the Chargers are going to win. And I sat there, I'm like, I'm picking the Jags. And I did pick the Jags.
Yeah, I did not think the Jags are going to win. Personally, I did not. But, man, they looked so damn good. I'm not doing it. But this is a little wishful thinking. Have you seen the schedule for the Jags after this game?
After this game, the Jacksonville Jaguars return
at home against Houston.
Houston, dub.
Then they go to Indianapolis.
Dub.
Then they have the Giants at home. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can win that game.
Daniel Jones is ass.
He's the most
Then we go
mid of
to
mid.
London to play the Broncos, who don't look good anymore.
Win.
They don't. Yeah.
Raiders, who don't have a win.
Then you go to Kansas City. There is a strong possibility if you win this game, you are going to Kansas City 8-1. You can bet
8-1 or 7-2 is both incredible.
the worst case scenario over those next 6 games, we go 3-3,
God, I hope not.
and it will be 5-4. I'll take that.
Yeah, 5-4 is still huge.
5-4 through halfway through the season, and then you got a cupcake schedule after that. You have 2 tough games, Chiefs and Ravens, and then you have
The Lions have looked kind of good.
Cowboys. Lions are always going to be just the covering machine. They'll cover, but they'll never win a game.
Yeah. At Tennessee,
I mean, things could
is always a
change by the
trap.
time November comes around or December, but
Dak could be back for the Cowboys.
He
The
will-
Jets
he
are
should
just
be.
everyone is hurt, and then Texans and Titans again. I hate ending the year on a freaking division game. I know why they do it, but it's just like it's annoying.
so don't look now, but the Jacksonville Jaguars could win the AFC South and make some noise in the playoffs. And remember who said preseason,
We lost all 4 games.
yes, a super dark horse to win the Super Bowl. Your boy.
Yeah.
Obviously,
yeah.
I'm on my high right now, but I'm just saying there's recorded proof of that. So I'm just saying.
Hey, I feel it, man. Well, I'd say that about wraps things up. I did have a local update, but the event got canceled due to Hurricane Ian. So, just not even going to bother. And that kind of made me sad, but hey, you know what? We deal with it how we deal with it. I just want to make this kind of a little PSA. Yes, we overlook hurricanes a lot, but please be prepared. There have been statements put out that we might have some really ridiculous flooding, especially some of you in your low-lying areas. If anybody needs anything, please go get it now before it's too late. By the time you're listening to this, it might be during the rainstorm. So just keep yourself hunkered down. Have a radio handy if necessary. Make sure you got all your snacks and take it easy. We'll ride this out like we always do, and just hope for the best. You got any go-to hurricane snacks you like?
No.
My
I don't see anything really.
My claim to fame was Matthew. I bought a 5-pound bag of sour gummy worms.
You're ridiculous.
I was ridiculous. I mean, I was a lot younger than I am now, but it was clutch because we didn't lose power. So I was playing video games, just eating my gummy worms, just chilling. But there's something about it. I don't know, the sound of rain on the window, playing video games, just chilling. I mean, again, this is a very serious storm. It shouldn't be taken lightly, but for the sake of just entertainment, I don't mind having the day off, you know?
I'm with you.
I know you are. I was waiting for you to say it. I'm like, this mug. Please agree with me.
I mean, I'm just going to say it like I said before. Hurricanes, if you are not involved in it, obviously, and hopefully the sheer trauma from it for some people.
Brace yourselves, people.
You cannot sit there and tell me you don't think hurricanes are aesthetically pleasing.
They are.
Like the satellite views,
They are pretty,
the
yes.
radar view, like it's such a cool thing, but obviously it's a very bad thing for
Obviously,
humanity.
Mike knows the negative connotations with hurricanes, but to say that they aren't majestic looking, they are very, like, when you see those satellite views, that they are like
The billowing clouds, like
the perfect swirl, like the water going down the drain in your bathtub. It is pretty cool looking, yes.
So-
we obviously know the devastating effects of hurricanes.
and I'm gonna say this: if you really want to look at a very aesthetically pleasing hurricane, look up Hurricane Katrina.
God, Mike, you didn't have to add that part.
I know, but it's just it's bad. I'm sorry.
We've got pictures up right now. It's bad. But you know what would make you feel bad about it, Mike? Go look at the city afterwards, and that'll make you feel bad, you jerk. For Mike Yazji, I am Keith Manzi. This has been another episode of Dimes on Duval presented by Nerdy Nuts. If you have not already, go check out all of the delicious fall peanut butters that they have to offer. Use code DIMES10 at checkout to get 10% off your purchase and get yourself some delicious peanut butter.
I'm still eating through my peanut butter, the one I ordered like 2 weeks ago.
I am like 2 scoops away from finishing my Star Crunch one. It is so good. Caramel and peanut butter is a great combination.
It is.
Thank you guys for tuning in and have a great one.
Stay safe, everyone. And Trent Baalke, I'm sorry.